Hello, this is Ron Simplified Myers. I want to welcome you to the 4 steps to attracting what you want. Before I get into the 4 steps, I want to cover where I came up with Simplified because I get that question all the time. Well, working in the financial service industry for over 23 years, I came to realize that people were being misled because of a lack of education. Now, if you ask the financial companies, they will tell you it's not anything they're doing, it's that the consumer is not reading the information. Well, my belief is the information is written in a way to make it very complicated to read, and then the print is in very small writing, and then you give a person a stack of papers on top of that. Well, for the average person, that is very, very intimidating. So, what a person is going to do is turn around and trust the person they feel is a professional to do what's in their best interest. That is a bad philosophy. I always tell people when that person walks into your home, they're representing their company. So who do you think they're looking out for? Their company who pays them or you? And we all know the answer to that. So I'm a firm believer you have to fully understand how finances work. Because I'm not saying you have to put everything in place because you might not be licensed in order to do that. But you should be directing where that money goes. So anyway, so what I did is I started simplifying everything I learned in the financial service industry so that when I sat across the kitchen table, the people I was talking to, their children would be able to understand what I was talking about. So I took that same philosophy into everything that I do. So I also learned when sitting across the kitchen table, that story we all have been told over and over that money is the number one reason for divorce. Now, of course, that would be a great philosophy for me to live by because in the financial service industry, it's perfect. But the reality is, I don't believe that. What I found when sitting across the table is people's challenges were a lot bigger than money. So it made me very curious as to why people were in the positions that they were in and basically how to overcome that. And then at the same time, I had to be able to know how to simplify that in order to help them get to where they want. And that's how I came up with the 4 steps to attracting what you want. So what I'm going to do is cover those 4 steps individually, but I'll tell you what they are first. Step number 1 are thoughts. Step number 2 are from those thoughts, you're going to create a story. So you're going to organize those thoughts and come up with a story. Step 3, from those stories, you will feel a certain way. And then step number 4 is you will take action according to the way that you're feeling. So let's cover those individually. Number 1, thoughts. Now I hear it all the time is you have to get control over your thoughts. Well, personally, I think it's impossible. With the media, friends, families, coaches, the people that told you get control of your thoughts, you got thoughts coming in from every direction. So to get control of that would be incredible. I mean, that's too much work. It's control what you can, and you can't control that. Here's an example. How many of you have ever, something just popped in your head and you go, man, where'd that come from? Because you don't control those thoughts. What you do control is step 2, which we'll get to. I had another gentleman that was in a business that I'm working with. He was actually the CEO. He made the comment at one of our events that every day, every night, matter of fact, he'd go to bed, and he was still going through that. He'd go to bed at night, and it was tough because he kept doubting himself, and he kept saying, I just can't do it. I can't make it happen. And I mean, it was crazy to hear because this guy was the CEO of the largest company in the world in terms of assets, and he was still doubting himself. See, that's what I'm saying. Those thoughts we don't control. But what he did every morning is he got up and he started fresh and he told himself, I'm going to go make it happen. See, that's changing the story. And then that's also an example of courage. Because like I tell people, courage does not mean that you don't have fear. Courage means you're going to do it anyway. So those thoughts are things, again, don't worry about controlling them. Understand they're there. Just focus on step number 2, which is the one you do have control over. But before we get to step 2, what I want to do is I want to have you do an exercise real quick. Take out a piece of paper, and what we're going to do is we're going to have you come up with whatever subject you're struggling in. Finances, relationship, or whatever topic it is that you're struggling with. What I'm going to have you do is write down every thought that comes into your head on that particular subject. I mean everything. Just write it all down. Just go for it. So stop the video and do that exercise and then come back to the video and we'll continue. Now I hope you're not sitting there waiting for me to continue, that you've actually turned off the video and went and done the exercise. Stop the video. I'm glad you're back, and I'm going to assume that you're back from this point forward. Understand your relationships, your business, none of that stuff will grow unless you're willing to do the work. All I can do is give you the guide, point you in the right direction, and it's up to you to do it from here. Now, if you've actually done the exercise, were there some things on there that kind of shocked you? I mean, things that you had no idea was even there? Well, I know for most of you, you're wondering, well, how did those thoughts get there? Because you understand that they're actually destroying what it is you're trying to accomplish. Well, the way they got there is through repetition. The more we see things, often you see it happening over and over. The more we say things, we're repeating it over and over. It actually becomes a belief. And then for us, it becomes the truth. That's why we're talking about keeping it real. Well, real based on your truth. And it doesn't make it real for me. Is we're going to take these thoughts and actually use them to our advantage. Because I want you to understand, it is happening every day. Those thoughts are being put together and coming up with step 2. But it's happening by accident right now. I want you to do it on purpose and learn how to use this repetition, again, to your advantage. That takes care of step 1. Go to the next video and I'll see you over there.